Hey everyone, Souther here. This is part 4 of my series on the Australian NASCAR Championship. This one's just a bit of a funny story. I'll throw a few of these in as we go. This one's about Kenny SCHRADER. To me, Kenny SCHRADER's just eating a bit. He's the duck's guts. You know, if I could have or could have had anybody's career in the world, any racing car driver's career in the world, it would be SCHRADER. That's what I would. I mean, the guy can race anything and win on anything. Dirt, asphalt, doesn't matter, and there's no sign of him stopping. He's still at it, and still winning races. He's just you know, I think he's in his 70s now, and yeah, and I just love him to bits. I think he's just something else, and a legend, and deserves that crown. You know, we throw around that legend a lot, but Kenny is a legend, and just yeah. Anyway, I just think he's the duck's guts. So this is about him and an Australian legend, Fred Seary. Fred Seary's a dirt track speedway guy. A lot of success, who came to NASCAR early in the NASCAR days in Australian NASCAR, and arguably had the best arse in a car out of anyone who ever raced on the track in NASCAR in Australia. He had incredible car control. Didn't have a lot of success. He won a race in Adelaide by a lap in front of the whole field. But he had trouble, putting a whole race together a lot of the time in the NASCAR. But his car control was off the charts. He could drive a car sideways at 180 miles an hour with smoke coming off the tires. He could go around the outside of you through. I mean, here's an instance. We had a big presentation night, and Robin Best, who just won the Australian Championship for the second time, was talking to me about Freddie, and he said, "Oh, Freddie," he said, "geez," he said, during that race, the last race, he said, "I'm going through turns 3 and 4, driving my ring out, and," he said, "my crew chief come on the radio and said, 'Look out, here comes Freddie.'" And I thought, what does he mean, he comes Freddie? You know, I'm winning the race. I look in my mirror, and here's Freddie coming up on me, and he said, we go into turn 3 and 4, and here's Freddie going around the outside of me with smoke coming off all 4 tyres. And that's how Freddie was. He was just fast, and he can control the car. Anyone who can control a car that's losing traction at 170, 180 miles an hour, and you've got smoke coming off all 4 tyres, that's pretty special to be able to control that car in that situation. And that's how good Freddie was at that. He just could drive the ring off anything. Anyway, so SCHRADER's on the track, and Freddie comes up onto the track. Not sure which way it was, but anyway, SCHRADER felt that Freddie had impeded his run, so SCHRADER came up underneath him and just give him a tap and spun him down onto the infield, onto the grass, spun him off the track, and that was that. Freddie didn't say anything, didn't do anything, and which is a bit unlike Freddie, because you know, you sort of expect Freddie to react, because Freddie was a bit reactionary. Anyway, next practice session that afternoon, Freddie timed it so it was totally reversed, so that SCHRADER was just in front of him, getting in his road, and Freddie came up underneath SCHRADER and hit him exactly the same spot and spun him down onto the grass exactly the same way. Just perfect. Then after the practice session, Freddie walks into SCHRADER's garage and just looks at SCHRADER and says, "Don't think you can come down here and fuck with us. just because you're a big wheel, because next time I'll put you in the fucking wall. And that's Freddie. Just wasn't going to be intimidated by a big name like Kenny, and but just the way he went about it, just the way he went about going and just dumping SCHRADER exactly the same way SCHRADER dumped him. So it was pretty cool, and just one of those many moments we had during our 14 years of the Australian NASCAR Championship that'll be remembered fondly by a lot of us for a long time. But yeah, I'll throw a few of these little anecdotes in during this series about the Australian NASCAR Championship. Cheers, everyone.